So here we have the book, America is the True Old World, Volume 2, The Promised Land. I ordered this book a couple of days ago. Now, when we look up the sign where it says Heeboes, right? Now we know they changed it to Negroes, right? But when we look at the old sign, Heeboes, we know that's Hebrews, right? Now, when we zoom in, we can get a closer look at the attire of what these Hebrews or Negroes are wearing. Okay. Now, I'm going to pull up the fake poster of the Negroes, right? Now, this, most would think, okay, they took them from Africa. But no, they didn't come from Africa. They came from the Americas. Turtle Island, right? Okay. Fine Heeboes, same thing. The fact that the first Gold Coast or Slave Coast, see figure 32, was in the Americas is evident that totally debunks the transatlantic slave trade story of Europeans bringing over 12.5 million African slaves on slave ships or sail ships from the slave coast of Africa, West Africa, to the Americas and to the Caribbean islands. Because this evidence suggests that the transatlantic slave trade story was told to us in reverse, since it's more practical to enslave the copper-colored Americans, blacks already in the Americas, from the Gold Coast or Slave Coast. That was first in the Americas, than to go through all of the time and hassle of enslaving the biggest and strongest people in the world, Africans, and then putting them in chains and shackles and having to fight against the current of the mighty Atlantic Ocean to get from Africa to the Americas, and then finding a buyer for your slaves upon arrival. Why go through all the time and hassle of getting slaves from Africa when the Americas was the land of Kush, aka the land of blacks, the land of the blacks? It would have been a lot easier and a lot cheaper just to enslave the Moors, blacks, that were already in the Americas and just transport them to a different parts of the Americas into Spain, Europe, and Africa to disorient them and separate them from their families. Okay. Figure 54 is popular slavery sales poster. I found the original poster, which describes Heeboes, Hebrews, prisoners of war, slaves, taken from Windward and Rice Coast, which was described as Sentinel, and also from the Gold Coast or Slave Coast, which covered Ghana and areas such as Nigeria and Benin. They called blackamoors Negroes today because the so-called African Americans allegedly came from Nigeria, and Negro is short for Niger or Nigerian. Yes, the transatlantic slave story was taught to us in reverse, because every place indicated on a sales poster, you can find the same place names in figure 32, which is a old world map of South America. You have a Windward Islands off of the coast of South America, and Brazil is one of the largest producers of rice in the world. Okay, as we can see, okay, tobacco or feathers, one or the other. Also, the dress of the alleged African slave on the sales poster is not the custom from someone from Africa to dress like, because African slaves did not wear tobacco crowns. Okay. As we can see, the statue right here, a cigar store, 1870, from a tobacconist shop. It does not depict the typical Plains Indian, but rather an Indian of the Pocahontas period. Okay. And as we can see, we see the feathers, right? And then we see the crown. Features of a Negroid, right? Aboriginal. Same hair as in the pictures. Okay. Tobacco crowns and tobacco aprons because tobacco is not from Africa. The only people to dress this way were American Indians because they were the tobacco barons since tobacco is native to the Americas. Now, based on all of the evidence, there is no doubt that the Hebrew on the original sales poster is from the Americas because the first Ganya was in the Americas, and the dress of the Hebrew on the poster is that of an American Indian. Yes, we busted them. Now let's discuss the second sales poster, which is a fake copy of the original sales poster because they took out the divine title of Heeboes, Hebrew, and replaced it with a slave brand such as Negro. Yes, this was all done for land rights and to hide the identity of the chosen people.
Land rights and to hide the identity of the chosen people.
So that they could be reclassified as property, such as Negro, Black, Colored, and African American. Okay? So, this makes a lot of sense. Okay? When we look at the picture, I mean, a lot of us can't trace our family and whatnot. We know we do the genealogy, but this makes a lot more sense. Okay, and then when you look at the poster, the feathers, and then when you look at the other statues or whatnot, makes sense, doesn't it? But peace and shalom. And also to take in consideration when we look at the Book of Mormons, okay, from a historical point of view, when we look at the beginning of the book, which really should be called the Book of the Hebrews, but it says right here, therefore it is an abridgment of the record of the people of Nephi and also Lamanites, written to the Lamanites, who are the remnant of the house of Israel, and also to Jew and Gentile, okay? But also, it says, introduction. The Book of Mormon, or the Book of the Hebrews, is a volume of holy scriptures comparable to the Bible. It is a record of God's dealing with ancient inhabitants of the Americas. And who are the ancient inhabitants of the Americas? The so-called African American, blacks, aboriginals, and so forth. Okay. So we got to separate the meat from the bones. Okay. And it says the ancient inhabitants of the Americas and contains the fullness of the everlasting gospel. Okay. The words written on gold plates. Okay. And even in this book right here, Heeboes, same thing. Fine Heeboes. We've just been told this shit in reverse. Most Negroids don't know that they are the pure seed of the Anunnaki Elohim, gods, judges, angels, who perfected Seth, or Seti, the third son of Kanman, Khazar, Adam, and Nekabah, if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I butchered some of these words. You may ask, why would these facts be hidden? Well, because all these Indo-Europeans or Spaniards conquered original lands and took control of people by mixing in with their blood to phase them out, or they did it by genocide. Then they claimed the identities and religions of the group of people they conquered, just as today you find Caucasoids claiming to be Native Americans or American Indians because they conquered the original Negroids called Olmecs, who were in America first. The modern Native Americans mix their blood with the Olmecs, who had mixed their blood with the Chinese, who had migrated under Hushin and are now calling themselves American Indians, dressed like Native Americans, wearing braids and beads and attending powwows. These same people were conquered and murderers of true Native Americans who were also Negroids.